Coming up in 1 minute, they left their home behind when the war began. Tonight, a local refugee family reflects on their journey as the war in Ukraine passes 100 days. We are 60 seconds away.
NBC 7 News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Garcia.
And I'm Mark Mullen. We're going to begin tonight with an update on breaking news we first brought you this afternoon. Sadly, one person is dead, another in critical condition tonight after their plane, typically used for skydivers, crashed just east of Oceanside Airport.
The small plane collided with the berm of a road after witnesses say it dropped parachuters and was coming in for a landing. As NBC7's Dave Summers explains, this is the second plane crash in that area in just the last 5 months, and it has people who live in that area worried.
The force of the impact crushed the nose of the plane and caused the right wing to break away, then collapse on the cockpit.
Well, it was flying extremely low. That's when we knew it was probably going to crash.
The crash happened a couple of 100 yards from the skate park. Graham Jones Kellett was here with friends when he saw the plane smash into the ground. He didn't know who was in it or what happened to them until now.
Oh, man, that's horrible. That's so sad.
Oceanside Fire and Rescue says the two people in the plane are both pilots, but who had control of the aircraft at the time is unknown. The woman, who has not yet been identified, died from her injuries. The man suffered life-threatening injuries and is in critical condition at a local hospital.
This was a quick extrication. We have hydraulic tools that are easy to use, especially on aircraft because of the aluminum. This instance made it very easy for us to get out.
An Oceanside police officer responded from his location in State Route 76 traffic, right next to and at the time the Cessna Caravan crashed. Police say a nurse and daughter, also in traffic, were instrumental in caring for the injured while firefighters got them out.
The side of the plane is clearly marked with the Go Jump logo. Go Jump is a parachute company that operates out of the Oceanside Airport. Witnesses tell NBC7 they saw parachuters jumping out of the plane before the crash. Still, the company says at the time the plane was being leased to someone else and the pilots are not theirs.
FlightRadar24.com has on its website a recording of the flight path. It indicates the plane flew as high as 11,000 feet, then circled as it descended before the crash. This is the second such crash involving a Go Jump America plane this year. The first happened in the field in front of this one. Jones Kellett was witness to both of them.
Someone's got to be responsible for that. That's terrible. You know, people can't keep crashing over here.
Go Jump did not identify the victims, but says the pilot who had command of the plane had over 10,000 flying hours. The cause of the crash is not determined. In Oceanside, Dave Summers, NBC7.
FAA investigators were actually at that scene shortly after the crash. Members of NTSB are also en route and expected sometime tomorrow.
It has now been 100 days since Russia invaded Ukraine, and still there's no clear end in sight. Russian troops have nearly taken a fifth major city now, and President Zelensky says Russian forces now control about 20% of Ukrainian territory, mostly in the eastern part of the country. Experts say getting it back could take years, and it certainly is not guaranteed. Ukrainian officials have blasted suggestions by some to give up territory to Russia to end the invasion.
Well, since the brutal invasion began, millions of Ukrainians have fled their homes to escape the violence. We have seen many at our own border, and some have started new lives here in San Diego County.
Tonight, NBC7's Amber Frias spoke with a woman who says she had no choice but to leave her husband and parents behind in order to seek safety for her daughter.
Yulia is just one of the thousands of Ukrainian refugees now trying to make a life for themselves here in the U.S. She arrived in San Diego 2 months ago with her 6-year-old daughter and has been working hard to adjust to her new life.
Laughs, smiles, and a lot of playing. You wouldn't know by just looking at the two young girls that a language barrier stands between them. 6-year-old Yeva recently arrived in the U.S. with her mother, Julia. The two fled Ukraine after the war started.
It's pain because it's my home, it's my land.
The pair is staying with extended family in Rancho Santa Fe. While they've been trying to adjust to their new life, the lives they left behind aren't easy to forget.
Yesterday was my husband's birthday, And my daughter loves him very much, and he loves her. We drew him a card, sent him congratulations, and she misses him a lot.
Yulia's husband is currently fighting for his country. Her parents and younger sister also stayed behind to help with the effort. Yulia fled because she knew she needed to get her daughter to safety. This is video of Yeva pleading Putin to stop the war.
Her daughter was very, very traumatized back when there were explosions, when the house was shaken and they had to live in the basement. So she's like, I'm never gonna put my child, if I can help it, through anything like that again.
Now, 100 days since the war started and living in a new country.
She said, I'm grateful I got here. My daughter goes to school. We're trying to learn English. Trying to learn how to live a different life now.
The pair has found a home in which, despite language barriers, they feel safe and, most importantly, have peace and love. Amber Frias, NBC7.
And while Yulia and her daughter say they are happy to be here, they certainly hope they can return home once the war is over.
Graduation is always, of course, an emotional time for students and parents, but maybe more so this year than ever when they could actually attend ceremonies in person.
You look at graduation, it's what we're all about. It's what we're here for. So it's been so fun to have kids be able to celebrate together today.
Graduates of Grossmont High School were able to walk across the stage to get their diplomas for the first time in a couple of years. Still, the COVID risk exists, of course. Weekly average cases have actually more than tripled in the past 30 days, and those are just the cases officially reported to the county, which does not include at-home testing. The number of hospitalizations is up too, but not anywhere near the pace of COVID cases. Students and parents say they hope the worst is behind all of us.
Feels nice to finally graduate, yeah. I'm excited to now the next chapter, going to college and do all that.
I'm excited that I'm finally over with high school, but I'm also scared because I don't know what to do after this. Yeah, there's so many things I can do, and I have to pick one of them.
What a nice place to be, right? This is also a big day for Grossmont Superintendent Carissa Kemper, who you heard from a moment ago. She is retiring after 33 years with the district.
COVID vaccines for children under 5 could be available before the end of the month. The Biden administration says it will make 10 million doses of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines available, and those orders could be placed as early as today. This age group of kids 5 and under is the last group in the United States awaiting eligibility for the COVID-19 vaccine. Some parents we spoke with are eager to make that appointment for their child, while others say they are going to opt out.
I think that the human body is an amazing thing, and it's got everything it needs to take care of itself. And tampering with this amazing machine, I think, is more dangerous than anything.
If there's something that you can do to just give them that edge over something terrible from happening, why not?
Clinical trials for Pfizer's vaccine for children showed the side effects were minimal, while the vaccines were effective. Moderna's vaccine for infants and preschoolers will also be offered in 2 doses. The FDA is set to meet June 15th to consider both the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines for younger kids. If they and the CDC sign off, shots could be available by June the 20th.
Looked like a pretty nice day for those folks to be out at the playground with their kiddos. Let's find out what you got in store for the next couple of days for your weekend. Here's Dagmar.
Yeah, it was a really pretty day out there. A couple things to take note of here. So we've got some severe weather moving through to our east, up to our north and northwest. Large, slow-moving, rather disorganized moisture system, low pressure, delivering rain into the Pacific Northwest, even Northern California. Great. Anything we can get, we'll take it. In through Southern California, all this will do is just sweep through the region. It will thicken up the marine layer, push it a little further onshore, also give us some mid-level clouds passing through like you're seeing there. And then that will end up kind of holding that marine layer cloud in place through part of your Saturday. Right now already you're looking at the low 60s under partly to mostly cloudy conditions. Visibility at the surface is still great though, but just to let you know, if you're planning on heading out towards the beaches tomorrow, just keep in mind we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies through at least the noon hour, and even after that you're looking at the mid 60s. A little iffy in terms of on and off cloud cover. I'll be back in a few moments because after this cooler, cloudier weekend, we got to talk about a warm up.
All right, very well. We'll check back. Thanks. Still ahead from us on this Friday night, there are more confirmed cases of monkeypox in the U.S. Tonight, how it's spreading and what the CDC is saying about the risk.
And another day, another record broken at the gas pump tonight. How that's impacting gig workers who need to drive to pay their bills.
All right, y'all, do we have any chicks in the house?
Right here, Kelly.
Give it up for the chick! Plus, American Ninja Warriors Matt Iceman.
Kelly, Monday at 3 on NBC 7.
San Diego County and the DA are teaming up to warn parents about a potential danger that is on the rise and affecting more teens. Supervisor Jim Desmond and DA Summer Steffen held a news conference today addressing the topic of fentanyl. They were joined by doctors who specialize in emergency care and several parents who shared personal stories of how the incredibly potent and often deadly drug has affected their lives.
One pill, it stopped her breathing instantly. She dropped to the ground with still another pill in her hand. She made a mistake, and it was her last mistake, and it cost her life. It's not fair. Fentanyl is an opioid. It's 100 times stronger than morphine, and just a small amount can kill.
Oftentimes, teens are now buying prescription pills like Adderall and Xanax that turned out to be laced with fentanyl. Last year, the leading cause of death in the U.S. for 18 to 45-year-olds, fentanyl overdoses. Federal health officials are providing updates on the monkeypox outbreak that so far have confirmed to be in 21 Americans. The risk of getting the virus still very rare, but they want people to know the warning signs and also how to get treated just in case. Here's Dana Griffin.
Health officials with the CDC, White House, and Health and Human Services says they're focused on isolating individuals until their sores heal and providing vaccines to their close contacts.
So far, there have been 21 confirmed cases of the rare viral illness monkeypox in 11 states and several presumptive cases, including Los Angeles County. It can spread through contact with body fluids and sores. While it's not generally considered a sexually transmitted infection, most cases have been found in men who had sex with other men and are linked to international travel.
I think it's too early to know whether monkeypox could become endemic, but I think it's important to keep in mind that monkeypox has been endemic in several countries for decades.
Symptoms show within 21 days of infection. The two variants affecting people in the U.S., doctors say, are both connected to strains seen in Nigeria since 2017 and have been linked to cases in Europe. Here's what to look out for: fever, body aches, and fatigue. Doctors say the appearance of monkeypox can also be confusing because it changes over time.
They start out with what we call macules, which are just sort of rounded areas, and they turn into papules, which become like a higher raised area, almost like a pencil eraser. And then you can also progress to vesicles, which is more fluid filled.
If you have these symptoms or have been in physical contact with someone who does, you can ask a doctor to test you for monkeypox. The White House spokesman says they are committed to testing, tracing, and treatment.
We want to offer vaccines to people who've had high-risk contact with infected individuals.
Doctors say, unlike the coronavirus, controlling the monkeypox outbreak is more promising because it's harder to contract and there are 2 vaccines available. For security reasons, HHS would not say how many doses they have stockpiled.
I do want to say that we have enough vaccine on hand to manage the current outbreak.
The CDC says they are partnering with local and global public health partners to try to understand how this outbreak started and how it's spreading. I'm Dana Griffin, NBC 7.
Okay, well, after scaring you, the good news in all of this is health officials say out of the 700 people affected globally, no one has died during the current outbreak. So there's that.
Gas prices have hit another record high, and there are no signs of prices coming down anytime soon. The average price in San Diego County is now $6.17 a gallon for regular unleaded. The prices went up 3 pennies overnight. We are paying nearly $2 more than this time last year. And when you add those gas prices to the increasing cost of rent and groceries and everything else, it all puts an especially tough strain on gig workers, including people who work as food and delivery drivers. NBC 7's Melissa Dawn spoke to one of them, a North County woman who's really struggling to keep up with inflation.
It's becoming the norm to see a regular gallon of gas go for about $6, and this worrisome trend is concerning gig workers who rely on their car to make a living.
We're working to pay bills, basically.
if we can pay our bills.
Narges Jamai is working to save up money to open a small business. This as she balances gig work like modeling and food delivery. But inflation is catching up with her. We met with her a few months ago when she had this cool sports car, but that ride just isn't possible anymore.
No, actually, I never thought that I will have to sell my car because of inflation.
Was it a hard decision to make?
I cried when I sold my car. But I had to. I mean, with whatever's going on right now, it was the only option I have, you know, trying to survive with this inflation.
As gas prices keep inching up, she simply just cannot afford to overspend when filling up her tank.
So I'm like grateful when I see $5.82, $6 tops. I'm like, oh, okay, good deal.
Isn't that crazy?
It's really crazy. It's like what is going on? What's happening?
The average price of gas in San Diego County has risen almost 15 cents over the past 8 days, according to AAA and the Oil Price Information Service.
Whatever we make a day, we spend it 2 days later on gas.
Gig workers say that most of them are doing about 3 to 4 different gigs. That way they can get enough money to pay their bills. In Claremont, I'm Melissa Don, NBC 7.
AAA says the extra demand for gas because of Memorial Day travel had a direct impact on those gas prices here in Southern California and, of course, the rest of the country, too.
2 hour north, a portion of the 101 and the West San Fernando Valley is now known as the Dr. Sally Ride Memorial Highway. Dr. Ride grew up in Encino and in 1983 became the first American woman in space. She later became a professor at UC San Diego. Dr. Ride is also the earliest space traveler to be recognized as part of the LGBTQ community.
Sally was a transformational figure who captured America's heart, inspired generations of young women and girls to follow their dreams and reach for the stars, and ultimately shattered the highest glass ceiling when she became the first American woman in space.
Dr. Ride died in 2012 from cancer. The portion of the 101 is from Balboa to the 405.
As we first talked about earlier this week, an electrical engineer who attended San Diego City College is still on track to head into space now in just a matter of hours. Katia Echazarreta is part of the next Blue Origin launch tomorrow morning. She will become the first ever Mexican-born woman to travel into space. Well, BIRCH Aquarium announced the name of one of its newest little blue penguins earlier today with this pretty cool unveiling underwater.
The newest member of the clan has been named, in fact, Azulito, Little Blue. The name was chosen through a contest. More than 2,000 name options were submitted by aquarium fans, and those were narrowed down to just 5, which were then voted on to find the winning selection. Look at that.
You know, they have all these like baby naming ceremonies and whatnot, but that kind of, I don't know, that's pretty impressive there, Dagmar.
All it would be better for Catherine is if it were naming an otter. Here's what's happening outside for you. Mostly cloudy skies. You will be seeing that for a good portion of your Saturday along the beaches. Then we've got a major warm-up in store for us. I'll be back in a few moments. We will take a look.
Weather on NBC 7 is sponsored locally by SolarTech. The future is electric.
This weekend, runners from all over the country will be pounding the pavement through San Diego neighborhoods as the Rock and Roll Marathon get underway. Tomorrow, there is a 5K through Balboa Park. Then on Sunday, the half marathon and the full marathon will begin at 6:15 a.m. Runners will wind their way through Hillcrest and Old Town and Mission Valley and North Park and then back downtown. Fun race. Expect numerous traffic delays for all the obvious reasons and street closures throughout Sunday morning.
Not that I would know because I personally don't run anywhere, but people that do like the cooler weather, right, when we have these events, so it could be good.
Yes, exactly. So I don't run these either. I thought it was tomorrow morning. It is Sunday. So either day, though, you will have some pretty good weather in that morning between about that 7 a.m., 8, 9 a.m. hour along the beaches. You'll be under cloudy skies. For tonight, you remain under those mostly cloudy skies. You remain under very comfortable conditions as well. You have the upper 50s into the low 60s. Inland valleys, partly to mostly cloudy, also looking at the mid to the upper 50s and the low 60s. In through the mountains, you've got a few higher clouds passing through, and that's going to leave Julian at times with what you've been seeing kind of sweeping through your skies all day. And that's that, again, higher cloud moving through about that 50-degree mark. Borrego Springs, also a few higher clouds passing through. You've got that upper 60, low 70 mark. So looking at the futurecast wind and cloud, you will end up seeing, there it is, that low cloud all the way through 7 a.m. hanging steady all the way through to the foothills. And then it clears partly for your Saturday. Some of your day, midday, should be seeing some good clearing along the beaches, but other areas, places like Solana Beach, Del Mar, Torrey Pines, you're often a bit more prone to that low cloud. Some of the areas in that shallower water around San Diego Bay, Mission Bay, Point Loma, you might see a bit more clearing. But again, that won't be until about that 9, 10, well, I would say 10, 11 noon hour. Excuse me. After that, you're going to see that low cloud being pushed back on shore again because we've got those stronger winds. Now, as you head into Sunday, it clears earlier. So for Sunday morning, you will end up seeing those partly cloudy skies clearing earlier on. So you should be seeing some of that sun popping through around that 8, 9 a.m. hour. Looking ahead in Chula Vista from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m., you are looking at those gradually clearing skies by 5, 6, 7 p.m. already becoming mostly cloudy. So the coast tomorrow, on and off cloud, mid-60s. You're looking at the mid-70s for the inland valley areas. Mountains, low 70s, sunny and gusty. Deserts, sunny and windy. Of the 2 days, your Saturday will be cloudier and slightly cooler. Your Sunday, a few clouds lingering, yes, but you're already warming up and there's a bit more sunshine in the forecast. So the coast and the inland valleys, you will have a, again, partly cloudy weekend. Sunday, a bit more sun, a bit warmer. Ending up seeing a major warm up for, well, not so major, but a warm up for the coast, heading into 80 degrees next weekend, upper 80s for the inland valleys. But here's where you will feel it more substantially. You will have a comfortable weekend in store for you in the mountains. Not bad on Saturday for the deserts. However, you have stronger winds. That's in part what's cooling you off. And then you're all going to warm up to some dangerous levels, unfortunately. Now the mountains looking like you'll see the low 90s next weekend. And the deserts 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Looks like Tuesday's when everything takes off, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
You know what took off tonight. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of baseball.
Awesome, yes.
You like M&Ms? The Padres like M&Ms too. Machado and Musgrove. They were great in Milwaukee. Another no-hitter? Maybe. We'll show you what happened next.
This segment is sponsored by your San Diego County Nissan dealers. And now, NBC 7's Sports Report, sponsored by your San Diego County Nissan dealers.
And we know the Padres struggled to score runs all season, especially the last 2 weeks. Most folks would not have predicted their offense would suddenly get hot against Corbin Burnes, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, in his own ballpark in Milwaukee. But they did, and this year's Cy Young Award winner might have been on the mound for San Diego. Scoring got started early. Luke Voigt, designated hitter, got off to a terrible start, has figured things out. First inning, that's a ground rule double to left. That scored Manny Machado. Voigt had a pair of knocks. It was 1-0 Padres. Fourth inning, fires up 2-0. 2 on for Machado. After fouling off a couple tough pitches, Manny got one he could handle and did not miss. 3-run bomb. San Diego tagged Burnes for 5 runs in 4 innings. That guy gave up 5 runs in April. And Joe Musgrove had all he needed. 6th inning facing Lorenzo Cain. The breaking stuff was nasty. Musgrove had a no-hitter going. In that inning, though, he walked a couple. So with 2 outs facing Andrew McCutcheon, who had the game-winning hit Thursday night, Joe gassed him up. Musgrove wiggles off the hook. The no-no is intact. 7th inning, they shifted for Jace Peterson. No need. Musgrove punched out 6 and took the no-no to the 8th inning with 2 outs. Just 4 outs away from his 2nd career no-hitter. Colton Wong finally got him. A double to deep right field, and that's that. But Musgrove got the next hitter to ground out. Padres win 7-0. Musgrove drops his season ERA to a .64, best in the National League, and having already thrown a no-no with a fresh outlook was somehow calming for him tonight.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of same emotions and same thoughts going through my head, but felt a lot calmer. I felt pretty decently calm in the first one, but having been there before and going up against a guy like Burnes, I was, mentally at the peak of my game. So, whenever I go out there, I'm really trying to just outlast the other starter. And, at that point, I give up a hit or whatever. I'm still 7 scoreless, and it's a pretty good night. So trying to change the perspective a little bit on how I view things has been a big piece for it.
There's a lot of talk about keeping him because Joe's going to be an unrestricted free agent after this year. I say give him the Robbie Ray contract. He was with Toronto, won a Cy Young Award. Gets 5 years, $115 million. He's the same age as Joe Musgrove, who's probably going to win the Cy Young Award this year. AJ Preller, keep the local guy here. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now.
You would love him to stay for sure.
Yes,
To get so close. Oh.
And we see so many good players in years past leaving, unfortunately. All right, have a great weekend.